When thinking of you, this person does not imagine something fleeting, nor a light memory that comes and goes without leaving marks. What happens inside them is deeper than it appears, because every time your name crosses their thoughts, their heart does not go to a small emotion, but to the idea of permanence, of construction, of something that could cross through time and continue making sense. And I want to tell you with a lot of affection, this changes a lot of things. Because not every connection awakens this type of thought in someone. Not every feeling makes a person look to the future and in silence imagine presence, partnership, care, constancy, and a bond that does not come undone at the first difficulty. When this person thinks of you, they do not think only of the now, they think of the after. They think of what could be lived with truth, what could grow with calmness, what could last. Perhaps, looking from the outside, you do not perceive this with clarity. Perhaps there are silences, distances, hesitations, confused attitudes, or even moments when everything seems too still, except that the angels show that there is an enormous difference between that which the person manages to demonstrate and that which they really feel when they are alone with their own thoughts. It is precisely in this silent place, where no one else enters, that you appear in a strong way. You arise as someone who does not combine with superficiality, and this stirs deeply with them, because thinking of you awakens a rare sensation, that it wouldn't make sense to live something shallow when the heart recognizes in you the possibility of something firm, beautiful, and true. Do you know what I think when I hear a message like this? I think that many people try to hide what they feel when they realize the feeling is too big. Because desiring something long-lasting scares those who are still trying to understand their own depth. And perhaps that is what is happening here. This person might even try to look controlled, distant, rational, or cautious, but inside there is an insistent question. What if it is with her that everything would make more sense? This idea returns more times than they would like to admit. And it doesn't return as just any impulse. It returns as a possibility that warms, disquiets, and at the same time reveals. Before we continue, write this mantra in the comments. My heart receives what is true, firm, and blessed. Write it with faith, because when we write, it seems like the heart agrees with that which heaven is releasing. The angels show me that when this person thinks of you, they do not think only of attraction, longing, or curiosity. They think of peace, and this is very important. Because there is an enormous difference between someone who desires us for a moment and someone who, when remembering us, feels that they could rest their soul in our presence. You awaken in them this sensation of interior repose, even if they still do not know how to name it right. It is as if in the midst of so many noises of life, so many shallow experiences, so many relationships that did not create a base, your way brought an impression of home. And when someone feels that, they are not imagining just any story. They are imagining something that stays. Perhaps you have wondered at some moments if this person really takes you seriously. Perhaps you felt fear of placing expectation where only confusion exists. But the angels want to reassure you in one thing. What you provoke in them is not too light to be forgotten. You did not pass through this person's heart like someone who leaves only a beautiful trace. You left a mark of meaning. And a mark of meaning is different, because even when they try to occupy the mind with other things, there is something in you that remains there, lit, like a possibility that didn't lose value over time. I know that it is not always easy to hear this when the soul has already grown tired of waiting for signs. I know that a woman who loves, feels, hopes, and observes many times also protects herself so as not to create groundless hope. And it is right to protect the heart. But this message arrives precisely to show that in the intimacy of this person, you are associated with something that continues, with something that has structure, with something that does not combine with emotional improvisation. This does not mean that everything is resolved. It does not mean that tomorrow everything will be clear, but it means that inside them, the image that exists about you has already surpassed the phase of the superficial. The angels show memories forming inside them in a very interesting way. They are not only memories of what has already happened, they are imagined scenarios, conversations they imagine having with you, simple moments that, in their head, gain an enormous value. Sharing routine, sharing silence, sharing victories, sharing exhaustion, sharing real life. This is very strong, because when someone starts to imagine you inside daily life, not only in intense moments, this person has already begun to see you as someone who could occupy a true space by their side. And it is exactly that which happens here. Now, I want to ask you for something simple but powerful. Write 777 in the comments as an act of agreement with this message and as a way to open the paths of emotional clarity. And if this message is helping you for real and you feel it in your heart, you can support this channel through the donation QR code that appears in the video or through the link that is in the description and in the pinned comment. This gesture of affection helps this word to reach more people who are also in need of comfort and direction at this moment. The most interesting thing is that this person perhaps doesn't tell this to anyone. Perhaps they smile, change the subject, try to look detached, or even tell themselves that they need to go slow. But on the inside, the image they built about you is not of something brief. The angels show that they associate you with permanence because they recognize in you qualities that today are difficult to find. Truth in the look, emotional presence, sensitivity, gentle strength, a way of loving that does not play with feelings. And this leaves this person moved because they perceive that they are not before someone who would fit into just any space. You occupy a rare place. And I am going to tell you something with all sincerity. When a person begins to imagine something long-lasting with someone, they also begin to face their own fears in a more intense way. Because imagining permanence demands courage. It demands emotional responsibility. It demands abandoning some games, some disguises, some old defenses. So, if at certain moments this person seems stuck, contradictory, or silent, do not think automatically that it is absence of feeling. In many cases, it is precisely the opposite. It is the dimension of what they feel that leaves them not knowing how to act. The angels show that there is a very specific fear there, the fear of not being ready to live something at the height of what they see in you. This weighs, because desiring something long-lasting is beautiful, but it also forces the person to ask themselves if they can sustain what they desire. And it is in this part that they oscillate, not for lack of feeling, but for being before something they do not want to treat in just any way. They know, even without saying it clearly, that you do not deserve crumbs, constant doubt, or presence by half. And this makes their heart move between will and fear. If you are not subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe and stay with us. Here there is always a word of faith, warmth and truth for when the heart needs to breathe. When the angels show me this energy, I feel very strongly that this person looks at you as someone with whom it would be worth building. And building is an important word here, because it is not only about living emotion, it is about imagining a base. There are people who enter our life to ignite intensity, but there are few people who awaken in someone the desire to raise something firm, with time, with choice, and with presence. That is what you awaken in them. A thought of continuity. A desire not to lose that which could flourish with truth. Take a deep breath for an instant. Place your hand on your heart and feel this message, because perhaps you have spent too much time thinking you needed loud proofs, immediate demonstrations, fast answers. Except that the angels are showing a deep, silent and real internal movement. There are people who shout what they feel and sustain nothing. And there are people who take time to speak precisely because what they feel is not small. This person fits more into the second case. Their feeling for you does not move in the logic of empty haste. It moves in the field of impact, reflection, and the desire for something that isn't easily lost. There is also something beautiful happening. When thinking of you, this person does not see only what they could receive. They think of what they could offer. This shows emotional maturity being born, because desiring something long-lasting is not just imagining being loved. It is imagining caring, remaining, being present, protecting, honoring what exists. And even if they are still learning to deal with that, the angels show that this perception has already begun. You are not seen as someone to fill a momentary emptiness. You are seen as someone with whom it would be possible to live something that does good to the soul. The angels are sending you a special sign. Your lucky number for today is 8. Write in the comments, "I receive the energy of the angels. My lucky number is 8, and I receive this message with faith." This number carries strength, stability, continuity, and the blessing of everything that can grow with firmness. I truly believe that one of the most remarkable things about love is when someone begins to imagine the future without noticing. When the person finds themselves thinking of you in simple situations, in phases ahead, in discrete plans, in possibilities that wouldn't be imagined with just anyone. This is not born out of nothing. This is born when the soul recognizes value. And the angels show exactly that. This person recognizes value in you. Perhaps not yet with the complete maturity of someone who knows how to demonstrate everything, but with intensity enough to imagine something that lasts. Now, listen to me with affection. Do not let this message turn into anxiety. Do not use this to trap yourself in blind expectation, nor to interpret every movement with desperation. Heaven is not delivering this word to you to imprison you. It is delivering it to calm you and reposition you inside. Because when you understand the place you occupy in someone's heart, you stop begging for signs. You stop diminishing your light. You stop thinking you need to prove yourself all the time. This message does not ask you to run after them. It asks you to comprehend your importance. The angels show that at some moments, this person tries to convince themselves that it would be easier not to feel all of this. It would be simpler to leave you in the field of distant possibilities, without deepening, without facing, without allowing the feeling to grow. But they cannot, because every time they try to place you in a smaller place, something inside them corrects it. Something reminds them that with you, the heart does not work in shallow mode. Something reminds them that there is a sensation of truth that insists on remaining. And this makes them return mentally to you many times. There is also a silent comparison happening. This person observes, even without wanting to, the difference between your energy and the energy of other experiences they lived. And this comparison weighs because it shows how much you marked in a distinct way. It is not just about beauty, presence, or charm. It is about depth. It is about that which your existence awakens in them. You activate a type of feeling that asks for respect, positioning, and courage. And this is perhaps too new or rare for them. Because of that, sometimes they step back, not because they don't want to, but because they feel too much. Write a list in the comments of people, including yourself, whom you would like to forgive. Visualize each of them. Send love. And say, "I forgive you and I release you. May peace be with you." Feel the lightness that this brings, because a heart at peace listens better to that which heaven wants to show. The angels want you to comprehend also that this imagination of something long-lasting did not arise by chance. It arose because your energy awakened trust. Even if this person still has conflicts, they feel in you a truth that welcomes, a love that does not oppress, and a presence that does not weigh. And this makes all the difference. A lot of people awaken desire, few people awaken trust, few people awaken the will to stay, and it is exactly this will that begins to take form in their heart when they think of you. Perhaps your greatest doubt is, if they think like this, why haven't they acted in a clearer way? And I understand that question. It is human, it is fair, but the angels show that their internal time is still trying to reach the dimension of what they feel. There is an emotional adjustment happening. There is a maturation in progress. There is a confrontation with old fears, with insecurities, with fear of failing, with memories of other situations that didn't work out. None of this erases the feeling. It only reveals that it is bumping into internal barriers that need to be crossed. And here goes an important reflection. Sometimes, the heart of a woman gets hurt less by what the other feels and more by the lack of clarity in the way that arrives. For that reason, I want to remind you of something precious. The value of this message is not in making you tolerate indefiniteness forever. The value is in showing you that true feeling exists, but that you continue deserving clarity, respect, and real presence. One thing does not cancel out the other. Yes, this person imagines something long-lasting with you. But heaven also wants to see you whole, secure, and aware of how much you are worth. The angels show that this person's thought about you has already crossed an important line. You stopped being seen only as someone special and started being seen as someone who could be part of something bigger. This is very significant because there is a change of vibration when the heart stops thinking of encounters and starts thinking of permanence. It is a silent yet profound change, and it has already begun to happen. If you are listening to this right now with a tight heart, perhaps at night in silence, thinking of this person and trying to understand if everything you lived had meaning, I want you to feel that this message did not arrive by chance. You are not imagining the strength of this connection. You are not exaggerating by feeling that there is something more there. The angels confirm, when thinking of you, this person imagines something that doesn't end easily. Imagines bond, continuity, constancy, and a feeling that would endure time. Share this video with 2 dear people who need this message today. And if you can, also leave a prayer for your guardian angel in the comments. This strengthens a beautiful chain of faith and warmth among all of us who are here. The angels show me further that this person feels a certain weight when imagining the possibility of truly losing you. Because when someone imagines something long-lasting with another person, the idea of withdrawal stops being just sad and starts to be terrifying. They think of what it would be like not to live that which they could have lived with you. They think of the emptiness that this would leave. They think of the lack it would make, not only your presence, but the type of truth that exists when you are nearby. And this thought stirs more than they demonstrate. There is something very important that you need to know. Their heart has already begun to associate you with destiny built with choice. Not that fantasy destiny, without reality, without attitude, without ground, but a destiny made of decision, maturity, and constancy. It is still in formation, it is still being understood, it is still seeking a path to reveal itself with more clarity, but it exists. And the angels make a point of showing you this, so that you stop seeing yourself as a doubt in their life. You are not a doubt. You are a serious possibility that their heart cannot treat as just anything. I like a part of this message very much, and I want to share it with you. It shows that love, when it begins to be true, does not think only of immediate presence. It thinks of permanence with peace, and that is exactly what is happening. This person does not think of you only on days of longing. They think of you as someone who would combine with a well-cared story. And this is big, very big. Now protect your peace. Continue being light, but do not diminish yourself out of fear of losing anyone. Continue loving, but without failing to honor yourself. Continue open, but without abandoning your emotional dignity. Because if this person imagines something long-lasting with you, They will also need to learn to find you in this place with maturity, and heaven is working to bring awareness to all of this. If this message spoke to you, write in the comments. What is true finds a path to remain. Share your experience, like this video, and subscribe to the channel for more messages like this. Thank you for being here with me. May God bless your life, strengthen your heart, and illuminate the path of this connection. Until the next video.